Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Puckn Pod. My name is Joe.
My name is Brandon. And I'm Paul.
Gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about, like we always do, but this time, the last time the audience saw us, we were doing a live stream last Friday for Trade Deadline Day. We can talk about it now. We've seen all these trades go down. There's some surprises and maybe not so surprises as well. Let's talk about it.
Well, all I can say from a Leafs fan perspective is holy crap. I was not happy with that.
Yeah.
But some of the trades that were made were definitely bangers. Like, obviously, the Kadri trade at the last minute certainly wasn't expecting it, but at the same time, it's Colorado, and he had success there, so I'm happy to see that. What are your thoughts at the moment?
Well, just to finish the Kadri thing is that I don't know if it was the night after, like on Saturday night, or if it was Sunday. It was real close after he was traded. His first game with Colorado, like just a huge standing ovation. Like they love him there. And, you could see him. He looked like he was going to tear up a little bit. I mean, he won a Stanley Cup there, right?
Yeah.
He's a heart and soul guy. I miss him on the Leafs. He got a little too heart and soul, I think, the last couple of playoff series that he played in for Toronto. And that was one of the reasons that they decided to trade him. I mean, he was a good trade chip, and they were trying to fill a certain void. Obviously, it didn't work out in their favor, as it seems to be many things are going that direction these days, including this trade deadline. But Kadri's going to be well liked again in Colorado, and they look poised to make an absolute monster run. They are the proverbial wagon.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like them, Minnesota, maybe Dallas. There's going to be some Eastern teams there too, but like I feel like in terms of moves overall, not on trade deadline day specifically, but up to trade deadline day, it felt like those teams in particular were the kind of heavyweights.
I'll probably cheer for a team in the Western Conference when the playoffs start, but I'm not going to lie. I'm low-key going to watch and slightly cheer for Buffalo.
That's what I was going to say. Like Buffalo seems like they're like the darling of the NHL.
Yeah. I mean, they got a lot of guys on their team that I like. I like the players, and they've been really bad for a really long time. That city deserves some hockey, some playoff hockey. And as much as they're in the Atlantic Division and I don't want to cheer for them, I think I might I'll cheer for a round or two.
Yeah. I know what you mean. My mindset is, as a Canuck fan, of course, Buffalo is the sister team, right? They came in at the same time. And for me, like I'm cheering for Buffalo because of the failures they've had over and over and over again over the past few years. But I'd love to see at least one of the teams that came in 1970 do something. Vancouver's had their chances, but it feels like this is Buffalo's.
Well, and they've got a 8-game winning streak right now. Like they are definitely, like you said, the darling of the NHL right now. Hopefully they can keep it up. There's a lot of people that are calling their deadline actually a failure in regards to the players that they got. They got Sam Carrick, Luke Schenn, Logan Stanley. I don't think it was a failure, though, to be honest. Like they needed complementary pieces. They got their star players already in effect,
and they didn't hurt themselves to make those trades.
Yeah,
it feels like their momentum hasn't stopped based on.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised the Colorado and Buffalo final if Buffalo can keep the momentum going. Really,
I think overall the biggest surprise of the year is probably Florida not even being in a playoff picture.
Yeah,
right.
Injuries were a big factor for I think that injuries were a big factor for a few teams this year.
Exactly.
Not half the league. Like some of the league is just bad. But injuries played a big time factor, especially with Florida.
Yeah,
especially. Well, if you're Keith Pelly, apparently with the Leafs too.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I think their slow start had a lot to do with that, but they had flashes where they looked unbeatable too.
Yeah.
And then they've just gone back to the same old crap that they started the year with. When they were injured, they're now not injured with the exception of Tanev. So I'm sorry, I do not hate. That's not an excuse.
Let's say that
not now.
Definitely sarcasm.
For sure, I know. When they started to get healthy again before the Olympic break, like probably a month before the Olympic break, they weren't winning games either. So yeah, I don't know why he thinks that throwing an excuse out from one of the most world-renowned executives is going to, and for one of the most world-renowned sports teams is going to fly.
No,
not everybody is, I don't know. I don't even have an analogy, but I was going to say, like, not everybody's just some casual fan that, lives out of the basement, never sees the sunlight, kind of thing. Like, people watch hockey, people watch this team, people who love this team and cheer for this team know what's going on. That's not it. So don't throw crap at us like that.
Yeah.
Do you think, going back to Colorado for a second, do you think the Kadri trade was the biggest move they made?
You could argue a little bit, maybe Nick Waugh as well. Like, again, I'm obviously going to Toronto on that as well, but, giving up a first for him, like he's got this year and next year. So they paid the pick for both years of him, and he's a Stanley Cup champion as well. So it might look like it's small, but the fact that it was a first round pick and another pick that went in it.
Just to confirm, it's a conditional 2027 first round pick.
That could move to 2028 if for some reason Colorado falls to the top 10, which they won't, but if they did next year, then
top 10 protected.
So the conditional first round pick is 2028 because the conditional first in 2027 went to Toronto.
Yeah.
And the Nick Waugh trade. The second round pick is conditional 2027.
I see. Oh,
yeah.
I see.
And I do believe, not to correct you, Paul, but I'm pretty sure that Kadri has 3 years left.
Yeah, Kadri. I was talking about Nick Waugh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize.
But
So do you agree that that's the biggest move they made then?
I think so. Yeah. I think he's going to make more of an impact than Nick Waugh will. Although I heard Nick Waugh drop the gloves in the second game.
Good.
With Colorado.
Good.
Like, I know that we're talking about the trade deadline, but for a second, like, just to touch on that specific point, you guys know how much I like my pugnacity and my tenaciousness and truculence. My snot, as Trelane decides to call it, and then does nothing with it. He clearly has blown his nose early in the season because this team is not tough. They're not mean. They don't have snot. They don't finish their checks. They don't. Or Jake McCabe stuck up for Easton Cowan the other night and got filled in by Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah.
Brendan Gallagher. And 5'2" Brendan Gallagher. Like, I know Brendan Gallagher is kind of a gritty, been around the league a long time veteran. He kind of knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But Jake McCabe shouldn't be the guy to step in because he's done it about 4 times this year and he's got beaten up 5 times.
So, guys like Dakota Joshua, like, I'm sorry, like, big guy, step in, do something.
I tell you, man, to touch on that exact thing, which I don't understand, Joe, because he looked like he was pretty pugnacious when he played for Vancouver. And I tell you, at the end of the game against the Habs, a game that they lose, and Arbor Jack guy is just filling him in at the end of the game, grabbing his jersey, throwing him around, face washing him, hitting him with gloves, and he just like skates away.
Yeah.
Like, show some damn pride.
Same with Brandon Carlo. I've never seen a guy that big and that probably has as much muscle as maybe say Matthew Nyes on the team.
Yeah.
Just walk away, skate away. Like, you need heart, and I don't doubt that Berube has lost the room. The way that they're playing, most definitely lost the team. But he is a hard-nosed guy. Like, you might not like your coach, but he's still the leader of your team. He is still the one that is telling you what to do. If you want to have any semblance of value to the team next year, whether they keep you or not, play by his rules.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to, get the heck out of here.
Well, the main question that I had for that is with Nick Waugh, coincidentally, maybe dropping the gloves in his first or second game. He didn't do that all year with Toronto. And like, he was brought in as, what's going on here? Why are you timing out on me?
Your tablet timed out?
Yeah, it just got real dark.
Huh.
Things are getting real dark.
They're real dark right now.
Weird.
I wonder, there's an interesting thing I heard on the radio today. I was listening to the radio while working, and Sportsnet, they air the 590 show, kind of in the afternoon or whatever. And they were discussing the Leafs specifically this year and how they believe, and this is the 2 analysts who are speaking on the radio, they believe that Toronto doesn't have to do much and that they're going to be a better team next year and that this is a one-off year.
Yeah. If you've watched them play game in and game out, that's not true. Yeah, no, that's not true.
I'm an outsider. Like, no, I don't watch the Leafs at all, but when I do watch them, I can see that that's not the.
Well, it seems like the coach really doesn't have the room. Brad doesn't really have the team. Like, I after this trade deadline, after what they gave up last year for Brandon Carlo and for Scott Lawton, high-end prospect in Grebenkin, really high-end prospect in Minton, who's on Boston's first line, who's going to make the playoffs by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
And to get pennies to the dollar back in return for the trade deadline this year, when they still had other assets they could trade to. Brandon Carlo could have been traded out. Right-handed defensemen, big and physical, were, players that other teams were looking for. The same with playmaking guys like Mattias Pacelli. He is a RFA. He's going to have some value. Like, they needed to go out and do stuff with the players that they had, and they did the bare minimum, and he left it to last minute. So fire them all. Get the hell out of here. I do not want to see Berube, that coaching staff, that management group, besides Pridham, on the team again next year. I'm done.
Stevie Sullivan, I think he's done a pretty good job. Power play has
Maybe he's the next head coach.
better not be Derek Lalonde. He can't see the players' heads.
Yeah.
To finish the point on that, Joe, I do think that the system that they're implementing doesn't work with this team. They're not fast enough.
No.
They can't play heavy because they can't get to the forecheck clips right now. Yeah. So it's kind of all relative, right?
Yeah, like what you say. You know, the argument about to go to Joshua not being as physical. It may have something to do with the fact that the systems doesn't work for him in allowing him to be physical. But like you say, if somebody's being physical on him, you would think he would retaliate in some way. There is a chance that coaching is telling him not to, so that they don't take a penalty or something like that. There could be so much in play when it comes down to it, but I think you're right. I think really more than anything, it's a coaching error and coaching system that doesn't seem to work for the team.
To touch on your point, Paul, about the Scott Laughton trade that was made at the last second, and it was actually reported by Elliot Friedman that it went into the queue with 30 seconds left to deadline.
Oh my God.
So that to me means that Brad Treliving waited, and then took what he could get at the last minute.
Yep.
Literally the last minute.
It goes to show, like, I mean, I look at Vancouver, for example, not being able to trade Evander Kane, right? A guy who we've known for months that they're going to try to get rid of. We've known since they traded Quinn Hughes that they were going to try.
Yeah.
But for them to literally not get anything, and for the team to say that they haven't gotten any valuable offers doesn't make a lot of sense. When you know for a fact earlier on there were offers, but they just didn't like what they were getting.
Yeah.
So you wait too long, you miss out on that chance, and now you're losing a UFA for nothing.
Yeah.
That's a 4th round pick down the drain, basically.
That Scott Laughton trade, I think the thing that is so frustrating, and it's just a vicious circle.
Yeah.
Now, that pick they gave up, the 1st round pick, and I believe it's in 2028 to Philadelphia. It's not this year, obviously, because that one was the Brandon Carlo. It might be 2027. Either way, a 1st round pick either next year or the year after, and Nikita Grabenkin, who isn't really doing much with Philly, but he's kind of one of those grindy type players that would be good on your team. The frustrating thing is that I do believe, Paul, that the Leafs, so they got a 3rd round pick for Scott Laughton, by the way, from Los Angeles.
After giving up first and Grabenkin the year before.
I believe that 3rd round pick is what they deserved for how Laughton's been utilized and played and how he's played this year.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been given an opportunity.
It's same value Michael Bunting that Dallas gave for Michael Bunting to Nashville.
Now, Laughton hasn't had a good offensive year, but he hasn't had an opportunity to have a good offensive year. So pretty hard for you to get value out of your player because, to be honest, Scott Laughton is a 3-time 20-goal scorer with Philadelphia, if not 4.
And 2 goals in his first 2 games with LA, too.
Yeah, that's right. To add insult to injury, scored in his first 2 games.
Connor, same thing.
Yeah.
Scored 4 goals in his first 2 games.
So that's something that it makes you go, yeah, I can see why LA only offered a 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
But why wasn't he playing in a role that, like, the fans love Scott Laughton?
Yeah.
I hope he comes back in the summer. I doubt he will based on what went down.
That's why he has to go. Head coach, the general manager, they have to go. Get a fresh face in there, somebody that actually listens to the players and understands them and pushes them to the best of their abilities, not what system works best.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the system that's the issue. It's the utilization of the players. If the utilization had been done differently this year, maybe Toronto would be a playoff team.
So this discussion was never meant to be a Leafs talk. But it ended up being though. But that's understandable. I mean, we get it. But let's talk about some of the surprises when it comes to the trades, the big trades that went down. I think for me, and I know this wasn't trade deadline specifically, but John Carlson trade.
That
was probably the biggest surprise to me. He was sleeping when he got traded as well, which is even crazier.
Didn't find out till the following morning.
Yeah. So I find that really bizarre, the sort of direction. And Washington, from what I understand, wasn't at the time that far away from the playoffs when they made the trade.
Yeah.
They were like a couple of points away from the playoffs.
No, they had fallen quite a bit, I think, Joe. Yeah, like as of right now, for example, they are 12th in the East.
Yeah,
and in
this is right now.
They're 7 points out of the second wildcard spot.
They in their last 10, they're 5-5.
Yeah.
They are, and they're 6th in their division.
I do believe that they decided last minute that they were going to be sellers, basically. Obviously, that's what happened.
Yeah, I think so.
Being a part of the team, though, for
like 18 years,
17 years,
17 seasons.
Yeah, just crazy to me that that decision is made. I can't imagine how he feels going into this now that he's an Anaheim Duck. Just kind of
and I think if anybody watching this watched our trade deadline live, I think I mentioned this, but it did sound like him and his agent might have had an idea, but it still kind of came out of nowhere, like the team and when he was traded, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because it sounded like when they came out of the Olympic break, his agent went to the Capitals and was like, "Hey, can we start talking about extension?" And they said, "No, we're going to wait. So we're going to shelf the discussion. We're going to see how the next little stretch plays out and then make a decision."
I'm assuming you didn't have any type of move clause then.
I mean, I don't know. He wouldn't have unless he had like a 10-team no trade or something, and the Ducks were on that possibly.
Yeah.
That's all I could say because obviously I traded him when he was sleeping.
Say, I saw the interview that Ovi gave that he was sad that
very sad. Yeah, I tweet about that too.
Yeah, both of them lifelong Capitals, so
yeah,
pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah,
he's been on the trade block for like many seasons here, but Braden Shen going to the Islanders.
Finally. Yeah. Same thing, right? Like a guy who's been on the team for like a decade, and all of a sudden now he's on a new team. It's got to be a bit crazy for him.
I look at St. Louis's goalie pipeline now. They've got a lot of really, really good prospect depth in their goalie pipeline. So something that if there's teams that are struggling with their development of their goalies, that talk to St. Louis and use those assets to get better players.
Yeah. Shen went to the Islanders, correct?
He did, yeah. For Jonathan Drouin, goalie prospect Marcus Kidloff, who's supposed to be pretty good. Conditional first and a third.
Drouin has been around the league.
Yeah.
It's
shouldn't have let Colorado.
I know. Like, I don't think it was his choice, but I guess it was. I mean, it might not have been his choice, but definitely, I think you're right. I mean,
he took the money, right? So.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough when you're a player. You're just trying to do what's best for you and your family and stuff, right? But you end up getting traded around. I mean, it obviously isn't the case for better players, like players who are stars or whatever. But it's got to feel kind of crappy when you can't guarantee. Don't buy a house.
Yes. Well, you can't really be. Unfortunately, in this league, you really can't be a one-dimensional player. You really have to. You got to play both ends of the ice, and that's where his stock has fallen.
And what team in the National Hockey League? Just random question for you guys, sort of a trick question. What team in the National Hockey League does that better than anybody? They trade off players, they lose players to free agency, they develop players that do everything. They come up, they play well, and they win Stanley Cups. What team does that best?
I was going to say Florida, but I don't know.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. Florida team,
yeah.
Yeah. John Cooper.
It's insane. Yeah. It's insane, their system and their development.
And I think it's their scouting too. Like they have amazing scouts on that.
The other thing that they do too is when they get prospects and young players, they play them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They let them play. They let them develop in the NHL.
I just heard an interview on my way over here. Adam Foote was talking to one of the reporters, and they were talking about the potential of now that, there's only like 18 games left in the season, the potential of playing younger guys and letting veterans kind of play less minutes. And he said, no, we're not going to do that. And I'm like, well, why not? Like, what are you playing for? Why are you, but this is obviously the difference between coaching a specific coach's mentality versus, say, a GM's mentality.
Yeah.
A GM is going to sign NCAA players to play and get experience in the NHL. And the coach is going to be like, well, no, he'll play the minutes I play in, which might be 5 minutes a game.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the coach's mentality most of the time, they're going to want to protect their own job. They want to win games.
They want to win games, yeah.
Right?
Doesn't make a lot of sense when you're 32nd overall. Right?
How did you feel about the Connor Garland return?
I was happy with it. I feel like obviously he could have gotten more, but I mean, 80 is what it is. I'm happy for Connor Garland to be able to play in the playoffs. I'm happy that he has a chance to do something for for his family. He didn't want to be in a rebuilding team, which I totally understand. When he signed that contract with Vancouver at the end of last season, the expectation was to be in the playoffs this year. So,
having said that, he's not there yet.
No, I mean, anything could happen, right? But, the potential on that team versus the team we're on now is obviously much greater.
Yeah.
Sure it is. Yeah. And in terms of the return, we got what we expected to get in terms of draft picks. Another second round draft pick. Vancouver now, and I say we as if I'm part of the team. Vancouver has multiple second round picks now in the next 3 straight drafts. So that's important for a rebuilding team. You want to be able to stockpile those cupboards with potential talent. So
something I'd like to see the Canucks do this year in the draft is take some of those picks and trade down for more picks.
Yeah, I'm torn because like I agree with you. Like I think that's important to do. The reason I'm torn though is because I feel like the potential of picking a player at a specific spot in the draft, and especially when you have so little in your cupboards, I feel like it's more important to be able to pick as many players as you can, I guess. But I mean, I get what you're saying. Like it does make sense. I think in the end, I'm going to have to live with obviously whatever they do. But I'm hoping that they end up with the first overall pick. I think they're going to end up with obviously their first pick is going to be a good pick either way. There's so much discussion of them trading down if they get third overall. Don't do that. Don't do that. Pick the best possible player. And draft and build this team. Like that's the whole point of it, right?
Top 5 in this draft are supposed to be
incredible,
team-changing players.
Top 10 even. Like there's some great players in this draft. If you can get first overall, obviously I say go for McKenna. That's my 2 cents. And I think the consensus is saying the same. But
player would change your franchise, man.
Exactly. All 3 of those guys, Verhoff is even, in terms of the defenseman that's available, Verhoff is definitely a game changer as well.
Yeah.
He will never be Quinn Hughes, obviously, but he can live up to whatever that ceiling might be in the future.
Yeah.
Whoever he ends up getting drafted by.
Give Vancouver credit. They actually moved players out and got stuff in return.
They did exactly what they said they were going to do.
Oh,
yeah.
Did. Oh, cool.
Yeah. You can tell the disdain in both Brandon and my face when it comes to Leafs.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, again,
but let me ask you this question. Did your GM sit down and say, yes, we're rebuilding?
I think he was as indecisive as could be. He was indecisive in Calgary at times and screwed that team over. He was indecisive for Toronto. He was Shanahan's pick. Pelly, when he was moving Shannon out, he probably should have done the same with Trey. Unfortunately, I liked Trey as a human being. I liked some of the moves, even like the Huberdeau trade at the time, where Huberdeau, Uyghur, and the prospects and picks that they trade for Matthew Tkachuk. It looked like a really good trade, considering Huberdeau had like 115-point season during that trade.
Yeah,
it looked like a really good trade. It obviously didn't fit the culture of the team, and it didn't work out. But there were so many assets that the Leafs could have moved. Like that's what I'm saying. I give Vancouver credit. They even got a sixth round pick for David Camp, who was not eligible or couldn't play on the team because he wasn't good enough for Toronto.
Yeah,
you guys still got a 6 out of it.
Yeah,
I know that you lost a little bit on the Reichel trade for getting a 6 as well, but it was worth a shot. He's a young player.
Better than nothing, right? And I mean, that's the whole point when I talk about the Kane thing. It's like the discussion out there is Evander Kane. You pay a 4th round pick and you're sitting here going, well, we didn't get enough in return for him. It's like you get anything in return for a player like him and you take it.
Like the Leafs did get a 1st rounder for Nicholas Waugh, but it's because he's got 2 years and he's a center and a right-handed shot center. So that's going to be worth a 1st round pick. But,
that's right.
You're complaining about wanting to get a 1st round pick for McMahon, complaining about wanting to get a 1st round pick for Lawton, and you settle for Beans. Like, I'm sorry, but that has got to be the worst. Man, it's the talk of the league, and I hate being a Leafs fan and having to bring this up, but it is the talk of the league because they crapped the bed so badly at the deadline. So badly. When they had other assets, send out Yarncrook for a 6th.
Yeah.
Send out Carlo for a 4th at this point, the way he's played. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Start getting at least pieces back for the mediocrity of the team.
Is there term left on those contracts on Carlos, for example?
He's got another year.
So,
and he probably would have got you probably first if he really pushed it.
But there's potential that he could be moved in the off season.
Yeah. No, I hope so.
But I was going to say, but I'm sure you doubt that. But and I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, the Canucks in particular, they're doing exactly what they said they were going to do. that they were going to try to move off their UFAs. They moved off all but 2.
Yep.
And the 2 that they moved off, I think they're going to end up re-signing Blueger anyway, because I think Blueger wants to stay. Kane, okay, you lose out on Kane. That's a 4th round pick. I'm a little sad about that, but I mean, my thought process here is you better not try to re-sign Kane after this season.
Yeah.
If you do, that will bug me a lot, because what is he helping the team with at all?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to developing young players.
It's been proven for the last probably 3 or 4 years that the influential trades are done before the deadline. The ones that actually give you the most value are not deadline anymore, because everyone's going like, well, you want to get rid of him? I'll give you this. Compared to, hey, this is a good player. He can help your team.
Well,
get some value.
And I think the reason behind that is, especially this year, is because there is a cap now for playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's so scared to like make a move and go over that cap when it comes down to it. So it makes a lot of sense. But
I was gonna say we should probably move on from this to get onto our next couple topics as soon as we can here. But don't you guys find it a little funny that the first year that they bring in the rule about cap compliance in the playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights pretty much didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything.
They picked up Nick Dowd, from Washington. And Mark Stone is on LTIR right now too. Again,
well, he's got to be
kind of funny, eh?
Time for the playoffs. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like not like it matters anyway, because they're still cap compliant, right?
And isn't there a rule now this year where if they're injured before the playoffs, if they're injured like right up until the playoffs, they have to miss the first like 3 games or something? There's like a rule there.
Yeah, these are I think it's 2. I think
it's 2. So that'll be really interesting to see what happens with Vegas. He'll be miraculously healthy the very final week of the regular season, I bet.
2 trades I want to mention that I think are cool trades that were done. Nick Foligno obviously going to the Wilds to play with brother, and Corey going back to the Lightning. Corey Perry. Lightning.
I've never been a Corey Perry fan, but that's just because I have some sourness.
But he gets you a 2nd round pick. Scott Lund.
I know. Yeah, true.
I'm not sure anybody's been a Corey Perry.
Never.
Except Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. There's so much going on right now in terms of we've got the spring training going on. We've also got the what is it called? The World Baseball Classic, WBC. Which is Canada's doing really impressive, by the way. I'd like to point that out.
Guess what team they're playing in the semis?
U.S.
Yep.
Yeah, I see. And the U.S., that was an interesting scenario with the U.S., by the way.
And Italia?
Yeah. What happened there? Anyway, so they got baseball.
They got beat. A couple of notes about the Jays, I guess, as a kind of a quick starter. Just to touch on a couple of players, like based on what I've seen, kind of some highlights of the WBC right now, Vladdy looks like he's fired up, ready to go. Mid-season form already. He's reaming the ball. Okamoto is going to be unreal.
A real deal.
At third, at third base is what I mean, because that's what I've seen. I haven't seen a ton of hitting from him yet, but the highlights in the World Baseball Classic, man, he's been a human highlight reel for that tournament. Like at third base, picking off, his arms incredible. He moves his feet well. Positioning is good. He's quick. He doesn't look like he'd be that quick, but he's pretty shifty. So that's something that I really, really like. And based on what the scouts and stuff are saying and the people analyzing the WBC, they, to your point, they do think that he's going to be the real deal. Now, just once, maybe please let something like that pan out for a team that went on floor, right? Like there's all this talk. It's like such a tease. Yeah, exactly. People are worried about Ernie Clement sort of coming back down to earth a little bit after his record-setting performance in the MLB playoffs last year, the hit leader.
I think that's valid, right? I mean,
I don't know, man. I'm not so sure.
I just mean like traditionally in sports, like there's always that expectation of, okay, last year was a great year. Let's see what happens this year now.
Yeah.
You kind of set that expectation. I think really more than anything, people just don't want to be disappointed if it happens.
Yeah. The thing that I fear the most about the Jays going into this season is, if we're talking about a decline, is Trey Savage.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about that. I'm worried that teams are going to figure him out, so he's going to have to be very deceptive. I think early on they're going to have to manage his innings, and I guess we'll see how it goes from there. But I was going to say that I feel like last year was the first time pretty much any of these guys, at least within the last few years have played in a big game or in big games, right? Like plural.
Yeah.
And I really think that is going to help their development, not hinder it. At least I hope.
I think it makes them hungrier, right? I mean,
Exactly.
you're going to want to go back in and do it all over so you can win that championship. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, if things are going to be like they say and have been in the past, and Dylan Cease is also the real deal, like I tell you, some early predictions actually do have the Jays as like the number 2 or 3 team in the league.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure they were going to get the respect that they probably deserve, but I don't think that, because I mean, a lot of the analysts and a lot of these predictions come from Americanized reporting, right? Because baseball is America's sport. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
So to see some of the predictions, I think it's pretty good, but that was kind of all I really had based on the players that the Jays are kind of working through spring training with and whatnot right now. The only other thing that I would mention is that I really hope Jeff Hoffman kind of comes back and has sort of early season form, because I don't think he was super good in the playoffs, and he's supposed to be their closer. We'll see how long it lasts, because the Jays do have some pretty big arms, and it's gonna bother me. You probably know what I'm talking about. Really, the guy, he throws really hard. He pitched for them last year. They picked him up, I think, at the deadline. Shorter guy who's pitching in some really big innings for them last year.
Oh, Varland.
Yes, thank you.
Varland.
He could be their closer if Hoffman starts to
Struggle.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of what I got from Jays. I don't know if there's anything you want to add or point out about Jays.
Yeah, you're talking about Trey Savage. Yesavage for a second.
For some reason in his head.
That's why you sign a Max Scherzer, right?
Yeah.
You need that insurance, right?
Plus, he's a gamesman, right? Like, you look at the way those guys, they have a brotherhood there, that whole team, and he was part of that brotherhood, and you can see, that he's going to be a big part of that even this year.
Apparently, his daughter was a big influence actually on signing with the team. So, I think it's fantastic. It's good that he's got a performance-laden contract, because it's just going to push him that much harder.
100%.
And you could see guys like Cody Ponce and even Trey be kind of kicked out of the rotation if they struggle at any point. But again, good that you have that insurance. You have pitchers that are even in your bullpen, like Eric Lauer, who proved that he could actually take on starter minutes. And then going out and getting guys like Angel
Hernandez? No, I'm not sure.
What the heck was his name again?
Not Angel Hernandez.
That's not Hernandez.
Who's Angel Hernandez?
Umpire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Infamous.
It's a biblical name. Jesus Sanchez is the guy I'm thinking of. Who's a masher. Like they have Santander out, who was supposed to be a masher, who did not have a good season even when he was playing last year. I'm actually excited to see how he does. He's been hitting the ball really good during spring training, so I
wonder if he was dealing with something last year.
It could have been. It could have been the system that he was in. He was with Houston. Not that Houston has a bad system, just might not have fit his style of play.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of predictions out there this year for how the Jays and all the teams are expected to do. Some of the predictions right now for at least the American League East does have actually the Orioles having the best season, and then Jays kind of like second to third.
Let me ask you guys a question. We were talking about this off camera earlier.
Yeah.
Do the Jays just not get any respect from the league, or like is this valid? Maybe that what you're seeing right now in the preseason is kind of because they're winning a lot right now in the preseason, right? I'm seeing big games anywhere. There's like,
maybe the last few, but before that they weren't doing so
okay.
Good. So, like I said, half their team is gone.
So what do you think? Is it valid what they're saying in terms of where the Jays are and the expectations of things? Or is this more fuel, like you say, for the Jays to show them who they are?
I think after last year, I don't even know how you would categorize it, but like the American journalism, when it comes to baseball, I think has opened their eyes a bit more.
Yeah.
a lot of times, like they were saying they had predicted the Jays not even to make the playoffs last year.
That's right.
And Paul and I the whole time were like, man, like they could do something.
Yeah.
They could definitely do something. And look at that. They went to Game 7 of the
Series.
the World Series.
They had the lead.
They had the lead. Yeah, that's right. So I think it's definitely eye-opening, and I think people are kind of going, oh, there actually is a team in Canada, right? I forgot they don't have snow all the time, and there's a little bit of an eye-opening, but I still don't think it's there yet. I think if the Jays have another good season like last year, there's not going to be a choice.
I feel like I saw a report where they were talking, maybe it was on Sports Center or something like that, where they were talking about baseball and the Jays, and somebody had said something like the Jays aren't going to get the respect that they want until they win it all. Which is like, they won 2 World Series in 92 and 93. Like they deserve respect for being, a good team, a championship quality team even now after what happened last year. So it baffles me sometimes when when I see them say things like, they're not going to be a contender then.
There's 20 teams in the MLB who haven't won in 30 years.
Yeah.
40 years.
Some 50, 100 years.
Some maybe, I don't know if that's true or not, but like maybe some even never.
I think the Cubs have been like 100 years since.
Well, they won it in 2018. Yeah, 2018.
Well, they got wrong.
That was a 100-year drought.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they snapped.
They literally, I remember seeing stuff on YouTube where like old men wearing their Cubs gear and crying because they finally see them win the series.
Are you trying to tell me that the Red Sox are just guaranteed to be, looked upon as a great team?
They went
100 years
to the worst. Yeah, that's right.
They've won twice now.
Yeah.
But so the Jays, since I don't know,
exactly.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, and for them to undermine the Jays and I think and say that they're not a championship caliber team doesn't make a lot of sense considering what they went through last year.
Yeah,
they deserve the respect of being at least saying they're going to be second overall or something. Give them that respect.
In a way, if you think about it like a hockey comparison, it's almost like the Habs and the Leafs are the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And the Canucks are the Jays.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Just like based on tenure and when they came into the MLB and then came into the National Hockey League. And it's like, just to kind of compare, because the Yankees had success in the 90s and 2000s, right?
Yeah.
They were, and I mean, not even just then, really. If you consider their visits to the postseason, it's a lot. It is a lot, right? Almost all the time. So the Yankees, I can see you talking about with high respect. Even on an off year, you could say, well, the Yankees always seem to find a way, right? I could see that. But you got to give the Jays the respect.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you know what? Fuck. That was close. That was close. I was going to say something bad.
I guess I have to do some editing.
Go out and show them.
Yeah.
And go out and earn that respect.
Like I said, that's what I mean when I say it is fuel, because for them, if they're not getting the respect they think they deserve, they'll have to earn it, right? And I feel like they earned it last year, but if they need to show this year that they are the team that should be where they are, well, then they're going to have to earn it this year.
You got to deal with the monster out there, this stupid LA Dodgers that seem to get every play. Do you know who ESPN's predicting to acquire Tariq Skubal at the deadline?
I'm guessing the Dodgers.
The Dodgers. Like one of the best pitchers in the MLB. Like, just keep piling on, guys, and buy your championships.
There are 3 Saints.
You obviously don't develop it, so you just buy it.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't surprise me at all. When you don't have a cap in your league, and these are they do though. Well, okay,
luxury. Yeah.
Let me rephrase. When you don't care about the cap in your league, just pay $1, pay the fine and whatever it might be, and just go in. They're a rich team; they can handle it, right?
The prediction is that Detroit and the Mariners will be in the American League Pennant Series. So I don't know.
Tells you that they don't think the Jays are gonna go.
No, so. They think that. Yeah, they think it's going to come down to Detroit and Seattle. And I mean,
what's Seattle done this offseason?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I don't recall anything being super significant.
Yeah,
but I mean, they were a great team last year.
But the Jays were better.
The Jays were
just based on the fact that they won the series, I feel like they were a better team every game. There was a couple of games, obviously, that the Jays didn't hit when they needed to hit or whatever. But I think overall they were a better team.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Mariner fans would disagree with me, but I don't know. It just feels to me like the Jays were the team. I feel like, and I mean, we can all say the same thing. The Jays were the better team in the World Series.
Well, a lot of skeptics have said that the pitching was the crux in the end for the Jays for the World Series.
Probably true.
They went out and got some good pitching to shore that up a bit.
Right.
So, losing Bichette, but again, Okamoto possibly being the real deal. That's again probably
If you're going to lose a hitter, you need to replace it with another hitter, right? For sure. Yeah.
In a way, I also think that rewards somebody like Ernie Clement, who's going to come in. He's not going to play shortstop, but he's going to play every day.
And they are saying that probably second base for him.
Second base, that's my thought too. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Yep. He played second and shortstop last year, didn't he?
He played a bit of third too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he played in the outfield, but I think he might have even played a game or two at first.
Might have, yeah.
He's just one of those do everything guys, which is cool. I like players that can do that.
100%. Yeah.
Sometimes you're just a natural born athlete. They said that. I don't know why this is relevant. It's probably not. But they were saying on the broadcast, I was watching the spring training game on Sunday, and they said that Ernie Clement apparently is just like the best at everything. In the clubhouse, they have a ping pong table. Nobody can beat him.
Oh, really?
It's just, he's one of those guys that's just naturally, the hand-eye coordination, everything just kind of lines up, and he's one of those guys.
He's an athlete. I get it. Yeah. I used to have a buddy who was like that. He's just good at everything. You played him in everything, and then he was so good that you would just be like, screw it, I'm not playing with you.
Yeah. So done.
He's like, let's play this game. No, you're going to win. Forget it.
To touch on your point about the Mariners last year, so they were 90-72 heading into the playoffs, and they won their division. Their division's not good, though. The American League West was not a good division.
Yeah.
And then the Blue Jays were 94-68. Having said that, the Mariners went 7-3 in their last 10 to make the playoffs. So they were
the Mariners not like right behind the Jays in terms of the conference?
At one point, they lost their last 3 games of the season, which kind of just altered that for them.
Yeah. Well, it was an interesting year last year. We'll see what the Jays look like, I think, overall in the regular season. It should be interesting. I'm hoping good things, obviously, for the Jays. I'm going to watch games this year. I didn't watch any games in the regular season last year. I plan on watching games this year. I'm going to watch it. The playoffs were exciting, and I think that's what helped. So, for sure.
Do you think Bichette pushes the Mets into the playoffs, considering Soto was the big signing last year? They didn't make it.
I mean, the Mets are going to be a good team. They're going to be a strong contender, and I think they need to be a strong contender. Yeah. They've got a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, they do.
After spending all that money on Soto, spending that money on Bichette, among others,
losing Alonso, though.
If you're the Dodgers, you don't care how much money you spend on anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Baseball's a funny sport that way.
A ridiculous sport that way.
I think it's time, gentlemen, to get into the next discussion, which we have been now, I think this is 4 episodes now where we've talked about movies with each decade. We're going now to the 2010s, our top 3 movies of the 2010s. And it could be any genre in particular. We know Paul's going to pick one specific movie as his number one. And we already know that because it is his all-time favorite movie. But,
oh no, I just realized one of yours. No, one of the picks I had isn't in the 2010s though.
Oh,
so I'm going to have to, okay, you guys are going to have to go first. I got to repick my third choice.
So Paul, let's start with your number 3.
So again, tough decisions on a lot of these. I really like movies like Django Unchained and Life of Pi, but I'm actually going to go with A Quiet Place, directed by
good call. That movie a lot.
Directed by John Krasinski, starring also Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, funny enough, in the movie.
Yeah.
I went to go see this movie in the theaters, and for a movie that's silent, it was so captivating to watch because you're seeing what they're doing to adjust their lives to not make these sounds, because these creatures that are in the movie, even the slightest sound, and they're going to come and kill you. So
and it's like, I think the acting was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
They really, it made you feel like they were terrified to do what, to make a noise.
Yeah.
It definitely, I think you're right. I think that's really what added to the suspense of the whole thing is the having to be quiet, having to maneuver around the environment in a quiet to literally stand everywhere you
go to a movie theater, you're expecting like all these boom crash and sounds, and you're not getting that. Except for certain points in the movie, and certainly the tension with the creatures when they're around was like very real when you're watching. And again, you talk about the acting, like the girl that played Regan Abbott who was the daughter in the movie that had the Millicent Simmons, the actress. She was fantastic in it, and even Noah Jupe, who played her brother, was also really, really good. You could very much get the fear from him when you were watching that film.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that one. And the second one is probably, in my opinion, almost as good as the first one.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I liked both of them. Are you ready? Or do you want me to go?
You go ahead.
Okay.
I'm chuckling because I'll tell you.
Okay. So there's so many different movies to choose from. And I'm kind of hanging around the thriller area because a lot of my favorite movies are in this specific area. Favorite movies in that decade are.
Yes. And it's good decade.
I'm going to start with the movie Knives Out in my number 3. Only because I didn't think you guys would pick this one. So.
Not in a million years. You could have given me 200.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie in the first.
I saw the first one.
I loved it. All of the Knives Out movies are great. It's a murder mystery, literally. It's
Guy Ritchie, right?
And who doesn't love a murder mystery? But I just love James Bond. The guy who plays James.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love Daniel Craig's role in this movie, and he's in he's in the sequel as well. And I think there's a third one coming out, if I remember correctly. But just he's so good with his little Southern accent and trying to solve the mysteries and stuff. And this one in particular, yeah, it was a fun one. And Faye and I watch every single one whenever they come out, so we both love it.
All 3 of my movies are of the same genre.
Okay,
Nice.
And I wouldn't normally ever pick movies from this genre.
romance. Your favorite? Who's
Sci-fi?
Sci-fi.
So number 3 for me, I have a feeling I might be picking one of Joe's. Interstellar.
No, that wasn't one of mine. No, I was.
That one of yours?
Nope. Nope, but it is a really good one.
How is that not your number 1? That's why I didn't pick it, because I knew that was.
There's a lot that people starts with I.
It's really your favorite movie of the time.
No, it isn't.
No.
Interstellar?
No, you'll get.
Oh no, and you'll figure it.
Don't give it away.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Today you said
All right. Interstellar, man.
Interstellar.
What a mind screw. Just like trying to follow along with it. I mean, it all obviously wraps up, but the conception or the concept of the time difference and going
Gravity playing that.
gravity and you know, like the wormhole kind of thing and that science behind it. Pretty incredible. I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, I don't know the accuracy necessarily. I imagine that Chris Nolan probably would have done
He does a lot of research.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, they have people that help them.
Yeah, they have experts, of course. And I mean, I just don't know how completely accurate it is. I'm not a scientist, but I'm not a Jessica Chastain fan, if I'm being honest with you. And what's kind of funny is I've picked 2 movies with her in it. But just overall, the movie, it's a long movie.
Yeah.
So it's one of those ones that you got some time to. I like movies like that, though.
Me too.
If it's a really long movie, but it's a really good movie,
Because you're hooked the whole night.
I quite literally get pumped to just sit there for 3 hours and just watch a movie.
Yeah.
You know, don't really have to worry about anything. I mean, I don't really have any insight to the movie as far as like the way it was filmed. Obviously, you know, the cool graphics and the way they did. I mean, I don't even know how they did it, but the scene on the planet with like a foot of water.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just so cool to think about.
Yeah.
That concept, how it was done. I don't know. It's just all about
Ice Cloud?
Can I tell? Wait.
Yeah.
Going back to the water planet for a second, can I tell you an interesting technical feature of that whole scene?
Please.
So you know that they mention before they go to that planet that a minute on that planet is an hour. Was it an hour or
No, it's 1 hour on the planet is 7 years.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed, but every minute or so, there's a ticking noise in the background as you watch it, and it symbolizes time passing.
Right. I don't think I noticed that.
If you watch it again,
I will now.
It's really interesting technical.
Cool. The use of music too in that movie was really
incredible.
It was very, very impactful for the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and a great choice. Absolutely. I was going to pick it as my number 1. But I didn't because I thought in my mind that was the one he was going to pick. But then
starts with an I, but it's not the same movie.
Number 2.
So in most cases, I might have chosen an Avengers film or
for sure.
Captain America. But actually, my favorite of the 2010s when it came to Marvel movies was X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one. I did really enjoy that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember going to see that with my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, and my brother. And originally we were going to go see, I think, Godzilla. And I had seen Godzilla like 2 days prior to that. I'm like, you know what, guys, it was good, but it's not it's not going to be one of those ones that's going to kind of like really catch your attention because it's a little bit dark and slow at points in the movie. So like we should go maybe see X-Men. We've seen the other X-Men movies and we went and saw it and just kind of blown away by the story. Like it actually was a really well thought out film in terms of being able to, transmit Logan's mind back into the past, into his past body, and be able to make the changes that would happen in regards to the Sentinel program. If you ever watched the X-Men or read the comic books, stuff like that, how that was going to affect the mutants in the future. And it was a really, really well thought out film. I loved that they brought a lot of the old actors back to play their roles. Again, Halle Berry in the past, I complained about her role with X-Men, but she seemed to carry the weight of her character in that film. And again, love what's his face?
Hugh Jackman?
No, the short guy.
The short guy. What character?
He plays Tyrion in Game of Thrones. Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, yeah.
I thought he was great as Trask, even.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Lawrence is amazing in almost everything she does.
100%. Okay, so I have, again, a few to choose from. 2010s were probably some of the best years for movies.
Yeah.
Feels like. There's been some good ones around now, too, but I would say a lot of like sci-fi. Yeah, I said, I'm thinking mostly with thrillers, to be honest. I have a big thing for thrillers because they're the type of movies that make you think. As you watch it, you're just like, what? How does this possibly happen? And how do we get to this point? And who's the guy? And you're constantly asking questions, right? One in particular that I really like is, and I've seen all three of them because the third one just came out this year. Or I guess 2025 or something like that. But Now You See Me.
Oh yeah.
It's a movie about deception and asking questions and you're constantly spending the whole movie going like, okay, so there's obviously purpose behind this trick, but who's behind it and blah, 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 right? You're constantly asking these questions and that's what that movie's all about. It's about magic and how, there's a team of people who are basically creating magic to deceive the FBI and they're trying to solve problems and I guess without giving too much away, they're solving things and they're trying to figure stuff out without passing blame onto themselves, even though blame is trying to be passed on to them and stuff. So yeah, Now You See Me, really great movie and a really great cast as well. Number 2 for me, another sci-fi, another Jessica Chastain film. Any guesses? Oh, is it the poker one?
No, it's The Martian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Matt Damon. I don't know how much money that the U.S. government in these movies spent to find Matt Damon throughout the last 20 or 30 years, but it's a lot. There's some funny videos on YouTube where you can watch actual scientists discuss the science behind the movies and how real they are or whatnot. Yeah. And most of them are like, they debunk all your favorite movies, right? And it's just like, It actually sounded like a lot of the stuff that happened in The Martian. No way. Yeah. Can't happen. Yeah. But either way, just entertaining start to finish. We've touched on this before because I think it's been one of our favorite movies for one category somewhere. But just the fact that basically in the actual running of the movie, as well as the filming of the movie, Matt Damon was isolated away from the rest of the crew. So a lot of his reactions towards the end of the movie when the crew, I'm not going to give everything away, but when the crew and him sort of reunite, is that like the genuine emotions that come out of Matt Damon is real because he's basically filmed for 3 months alone by himself
with just, the film crew and didn't have any contact with the rest of the cast. And just to see a man's journey and survival and what he does and the fact that, he doesn't have all the answers, but he figures a way to sort them out. Yeah. And on top of that, the comedy and, you're doomed on this planet, yet he brings this sort of lightness to the day, or he tries. Cause what else are you going to do? Right. Yeah. You're kind of screwed. You're on Mars. Exactly. So anyway, that's Martian. Another movie that I could literally watch every day. Yeah. All right, Paul, what's your number 1?
Well, Joe ruined it for me, but everyone knows I've talked about it many times on previous recordings.
I didn't really ruin anything. If you watched this podcast before, you know the answer.
Inception, Christopher Nolan. Funny enough, I actually don't think it's his best film. I actually think Tenet is his best film. However, Inception is my favorite film. Just the concept behind dreams and having control of a dream to the point that you can see the physics and everything bending inside the dream. It was expertly cast. Leo DiCaprio as Cobb, JGL as what's his face now? I can't remember. Arthur.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Put Tom Hardy more on the map as Eames. Elliot Page, who was Ellen Page at the time, Ariane was great as somebody that was mapping the dreams. The use of being
was fairly unknown up until then.
Yeah, she had just, I think, done Juno at that point,
right,
and then had been cast into that. Ken Watanabe is really good in a lot of the movies he's done. Like Last Samurai is probably one of my favorite films with him in it.
Yeah,
Cillian Murphy is really, really good. Even Cillian Murphy, sorry.
Yeah.
Michael Caine has been in a lot of Christopher Nolan films, obviously the Batman ones, and Pete Postlethwaite with one of his last films playing Robert Fisher's dad, Maurice Fisher, has been good in so many years in so many of his films, and I just can't say enough. Like there was action, there was comedy, there was a bit of romance, there was amazing music. I love that soundtrack to that movie. It's one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah.
And even at the end where it kind of leaves you on that bit of cliffhanger, whether he's there or not, I won't ruin it. Really, really captivated me. I've seen this movie probably 30 times, and I can still probably see it another 30 times and be happy to watch it.
You didn't even mention Tom Hardy.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Tom Hardy.
Did you? Oh, okay. My apologies. I missed it. I was going to say, I think that was the first movie I remember seeing him in.
Yeah.
Was
this after? That was after Batman.
No, Dark Knight Rises. It was 2012, I think.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, a couple years after. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guess it?
Even Tom Berenger, like way back in the 90s, he had a role in this film.
Oh,
it was great as his role.
Well, okay, with my number one, I'm going to go to a Tarantino film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It is 2019, so it's late 2010s, but definitely one of my favorites of the 2010s. I can't say enough about Tarantino movies. The way he writes, the way he tells a story, even visually, but the cool part about this specific story is it kind of tells the whole Manson family story, but from a different universe.
Yeah, different universe.
They don't get to do what they were trying to do, and it tells this story of this sort of washed up actor and trying to revive it.
Well, even a bit about Sharon Tate too, right? The whole thing that happened with that. So,
but that again, the perspective of the what if kind of perspective, right? When it comes to the Sharon Tate thing. Again, amazing cast. You've got Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, Margaret Qualley, and probably the first thing I ever saw her in.
Yeah.
Austin Butler as well. Dakota Fanning was in it.
Yeah.
Luke Perry, one of the last things he ever did.
Yep.
Damian Lewis plays Steve McQueen, which is pretty crazy.
I like that.
Yeah. So just, an incredible cast.
Well, even Brad Pitt, I can't remember his name in the movie, but
is Cliff Booth.
That he's fighting Bruce Lee. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So, just incredible. And I think that scene in particular is Tarantino's kind of joke about, a play on things, right? Like maybe Bruce Lee wasn't who he said he was.
Yes.
But yeah, just sort of a fun movie all around. So
my number one is also a very fun movie all around.
Perfect.
Ready Player One.
Oh yeah.
I love that movie.
Another movie I could watch every day. I just learned something about it that I did not know. Not that you guys would be able to repeat it. Do any of you know? So just for quick context, the movie takes place in 2045. It's kind of a dystopian world.
Yeah.
And a lot of people by this time escape reality by going into like a virtual reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Called the Oasis. Do you know that that's an acronym?
I did not know that.
No, I didn't know that.
It stands for Ontologically Anthropocentric Sensory Immersive Simulation.
Now say that 10 times fast.
No, not going to do that.
No.
Anyway, it basically surrounds, kind of this gaming guru from, pop culture in the 80s, 90s. And he created this oasis for people to go into. And I think it sort of developed away from what his initial plan for it was.
Yeah.
And he got very sick and ended up hiding Easter eggs, which after watching this movie, kind of just playing around and doing a little bit of my own research, Easter eggs are in everything.
Yes, of course.
And I never realized that either. And it's kind of neat to hear about more, right?
And there are movies you'll watch that you don't realize have Easter eggs because they're a part of a similar universe from another movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
That you don't realize that they are connected in some way, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the beauty thing about Hollywood and movies in particular, is that you can tie things together.
Yeah.
Especially superhero movies. Right?
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with this movie. You get a little bit of everything. You get a bit of little comedy, a little bit of action, a little bit of thriller, a little bit of romance.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. Ben Mendelsohn, who I've really, really grown to love over the years. First movie I ever saw him in was Vertical Limit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he plays it. Well, he is Australian. I don't say he plays the Australian guy, but he is Australian.
Yeah.
And just like everything I see him in since, it's like, I don't know, I just love him. I think he's great. But just the concept, it's neat. It was like a new idea, another Spielberg banger, you know, just the way the film was kind of, they did a really good job, because I would say majority of the movie is actually CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so just the way they incorporated that and still made the movie fantastic, entertaining. They involved pop culture, which I love.
Well, most of the pop culture they involved is like Steven Spielberg related, being that he directed and produced the movie, right? But
I think I might even go watch that after we're done.
Definitely a good choice. It's a great movie for sure. Yeah. And gentlemen, just like that, we don't have time for honorable mentions, unfortunately.
No worries. It's okay, I don't have any.
We took a lot of time to talk about our I guess the trade deadline and our complaints about some of the movies that were made and baseball and whatnot. But we always have another podcast next week to talk more. It's actually my birthday, the day that this podcast airs. So
nice. You can take the day off, Joe.
I'm going to take the day off, but we'll be back again next week with another recording. So make sure you join us again. Once again for the Puckn Pod. My name is Joe.
My name is Brandon.
And I'm Paul.
We'll see you guys next time.